Welcome back, Sleepers. I'm concerned I won't be able to afford to play Dune Awakening anymore pretty soon. We need to have a serious chat about the economy in Dune Awakening, because, frankly, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. If you log into the exchange right now on the big servers, you'll see Spice Melange listed for 40 million Solari. Some 1 billion items in there too, but I don't think they'll sell. But what is essentially spicy pocket sand, that's a whole lot of Solari. At this rate, I'm going to need to take out a real-life mortgage just to afford tier 6 materials. Today we need to talk about the Solari duplication glitch that has absolutely nuked the market, the plague of server hoppers ruining smaller servers, and most importantly, how Funcom can actually fix this mess without punishing the honest players who just got caught in the crossfire. Grab a cup of water because you definitely can't afford spice right now. Let's get into it. In case you've been living in a wind trap for the last few weeks, the root cause of this hyperinflation is a massive Solari duplication glitch. It really came to light over the weekend. Without getting too bogged down in the code, there's a critical programming flaw in how the game handles large currency transactions with the Banker NPC. It comes down to a mix-up between signed and unsigned 32-bit integers. I'm not the technical guy here. When an exploiter triggers a withdrawal larger than the game's code can understand, it completely breaks the math, throwing an underflow error that instantly rewards a player with over 4.2 billion Solari. Because of this, the mega servers are flooded with trillions of dirty illegitimate Solari. The value of the currency has plummeted to zero, and the cost of everything else has skyrocketed to the moon. Now, infinite money on a mega server is a disaster, but the real issue is the plague of arbitrage. Opportunistic players are transferring their characters to smaller servers like mine, buying up everything on the local market right down to the NPC vendor stocks, and taking it back to the big servers to sell for these absurd amounts. The moment an honest player lists a reasonable stack of materials, a server hopping billionaire swoops in, buys it instantly and hoards it. The marketplace is supposed to be a safe haven for players who don't want to get ganked in the deep desert. But right now, if you're a regular player, you're completely locked out of the game's progression. You're effectively playing a survival game where the biggest threat isn't the sandworms, it's the billionaires. This brings us to the most complicated part of this entire crisis, the innocent players. When an economy inflates this rapidly, the lines between exploiter and lucky player get incredibly blurred. Let's say you're just a regular bloke who found a rare schematic. You throw it onto the exchange for what you think is a fair price. Or maybe you see the inflated prices and just match the market rate. A duper buys it. Suddenly you have 50 million Solari in your pocket. As you'll see in the background footage, I have not used any illicit funds. I worked my way up to 120,000 on a fresh account and bought one melange, and I've just resold and repurchased from the melange seller. I'm at over 1 billion Solari myself. Am I an exploiter? Absolutely not. I just played the game and engaged with the markets as they exist. I didn't abuse any flaws, I just sold a stack of melange, a single unit of melange might I change that to a very rich, very corrupt player. And I've done that time and time again. This is why a full server rollback or blanket wipe of the player wallets would be a disaster. You cannot punish the honest players who are simply rewarded with the new broken values of the market. How does Funcom fix this? I know a lot of people are calling for names to be named, and for players to be publicly shamed. I don't think that's the right move. Witch hunts never end well, and it's not our job to police the servers. Here is what I believe is the only fair, viable fix. Firstly, Funcom needs to use their back-end data to identify the actual original exploiters, the ones who triggered the banker glitch. If they can be identified, hit them with a 14-day ban. It sends a firm message without permanently killing the player base. But to fix the economy itself, we need a massive server-wide money sink. Introduce elusive, ultra-expensive cosmetic items, guild hall upgrades or titles that cost hundreds of millions of Solari. Give all these newly rich players a reason to voluntarily empty their wallets, in a way that only drains the dirty money out of the system without punishing the innocent players who just sold their hard-earned loot. To wrap this up, I want to speak directly to the community. Dune Awakening is a brilliant game with incredible potential, but an MMO lives and dies by the health of its community. We've seen constantly throughout the game repair glitches, duplication glitches, and the game's only been out since June last year. What this glitch has shown us isn't just a flaw in the code, it's shown us how a prickly portion of the player base will abandon the spirit of the game for sheer greed. By bleeding smaller servers dry and locking honest players out of the market, exploiters aren't just getting rich, they're actively killing the game they claim to enjoy. If new players log in and see a 40 million Solari price tag on a single piece of melange and realise they can never progress, they'll just uninstall. In my opinion, Funcom needs to act. And they need to act fairly, but as a community we also need to remember that if we destroy the foundation of the game just to hoard digital wealth, there won't be a game left to play. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you really think of this? Personally, I think it is going to be a massive issue. The repercussions will be felt for a long time. If you can be respectful to one another, please, in the comments. Stay safe out in the sands, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!